Hello and welcome to my video series on Hanabi. You can find an index of all of my videos in the description below. Hanabi is an awesome card game, and if you haven't tried it, you really should. In this video, I'll be focusing on the rules of the game. No strategy discussion, just simply how to play. The rules are simple, and you'll be able to learn them in just a few short minutes. But what makes the game so good is that it has so much depth. It's easy to learn, but hard to master. So let's jump right into it. Like most card games, Hanabi is a multiplayer game and can be played with 2 to 5 players. But unlike other card games, you are not trying to beat the other players. Everybody needs to work as a team, and you will either win or lose together. There's really not a lot of cooperative card games out there, so it makes Hanabi pretty unique. In most card games, you can see your own hand, but you can't see your opponent's hand. And in Hanabi, it's the exact opposite. This screenshot is taken from the perspective of Alice. She can't see her own hand, but she can see Bob's hand. So how do you win? Well, similar to solitaire, there's stacks in the center of the table, one for each suit. The stacks start out empty, and the team must build them up in order, starting with 1 and ending with 5. In this screenshot, 4 blue cards still need to be played on the blue stack, but the purple stack is finished. Hanabi is not played with a normal deck of cards. Pictured here is a Hanabi deck, which contains 50 cards with 5 suits. As you can see, each suit has 3 1s, 1 5, and 2 of the other cards. Essentially, this means that 5s are the most important card in the deck. Hanabi can be played with 2, 3, 4, or 5 players. To start with, each player is dealt a number of cards depending on the number of players, but it will always be either 4 or 5 cards. The online implementation of Hanabi does not allow players to reorganize the cards in their hand. Typically, cards are drawn and added to the left side. The position of each card is denoted by slots. For example, in this screenshot, the leftmost card is slot 1, and the rightmost card is slot 5, which is the oldest card, and the slot 1 card is the card that was just drawn. A random player will go first, and play will rotate around the table, with each player taking a turn. On some turns, players will get to draw a card, and when the final card is drawn from the deck, then every player gets 1 additional turn, and the game is over. So, think of Hanabi as a race to get all of the cards played in the stacks before all the cards are drawn. So your next question is, what can players do on their turn? There's 3 possible actions: giving a clue, playing a card, or discarding a card. Let's go over each in turn. As you've probably guessed by now, since players cannot see their own hand, they rely on their teammates to give them clues in order to tell them what to do. To give a clue, you choose one of the 5 numbers or one of the 5 colors, and then you choose a teammate, and then you tell your teammate about all of the cards in their hand that match. So for example, we can pretend that we are Alice and it is the first turn of the game. The team needs to play the blue 1 and the red 1 on the stacks. So Alice tells Bob, "You have 2 1s in slots 3 and 4. This will light up 2 cards in Bob's hand. He knows for sure that they are 1s, but he has no idea what color they are. Let's do one more example before moving on. In this screenshot, Alice tells Bob, "You have 3 blue cards in slots 1, 2, and 3. So the clue touches slots 1, 2, and 3, filling them in, so to speak, at least partially, because the rank of the card is still unknown. This is what it looks like for Bob. We would say that slots 1, 2, and 3 have a positive blue clue on them, and the other 2 cards in slots 4 and 5 are known to be not blue, so now they have a negative blue clue on them. Nearly all of the strategy in Hanabi comes from players deciding what the best clues to give to your teammates are, and also how to interpret the clues that your teammates give you. So, by giving clues to your teammates, you can help them know which cards to play. However, Hanabi needs to have a cost associated with giving a clue. Otherwise, players could just give infinite clues to each other and the game would be too easy. At the beginning of the game, the team starts with 8 clue tokens, and each clue given costs a clue token. When there are 0 clue tokens left, players are not able to give clues anymore. They must perform one of the other two actions. Let's move on to the second action that a player can do, discarding a card. A player can choose any card to discard in their hand that they want. Discarded cards go to a discard pile, which can be globally seen by all the players. Some players also call this a trash area or graveyard. Each time a player discards a card, it generates one new clue token for the team. There's many different kinds of strategies in Hanabi, but in most teams, players typically discard their rightmost card without any positive clues on it. This way, what they discard is predictable. In this screenshot, Alice would discard her slot 4 card. Of course, the third and final action that a player can do on their turn is to play a card from their hand. Most of the time, players will be playing a card that has one or more positive clues on it. In this example, it's the beginning of the game, and Alice has just clued Bob about 2 1s. Bob knows that no matter what color the 1s are, they need to be played. So he declares, "I am playing slot 3, moves the card to the stacks, and turns it over to reveal what it is." In this case, the identity of his slot 3 card happens to be a green one, so it successfully plays onto the green stack. The next green card that the team will have to play is green 2. Notice that Bob does not need to know the exact identity of the card in order to play it. He can play anything he wants. This means that it's possible for players to make mistakes. Let's consider the exact same example, but with one thing changed. The green one is already played on the stacks. Here, Bob would declare, "I am playing slot 3, reveal that the card is green 1, and it would misplay. Instead of going to the stacks, it would go to the discard pile instead. And no clue token is awarded for this. Furthermore, it counts as a strike for the team. If the team gets 3 strikes, then the game immediately ends and a score of 0 is given. So now we see that players have to be careful about playing cards in their hands. And players have to be careful about manipulating their teammates into playing cards with misleading looking clues. So those are the 3 actions that each player can perform on their turn. And now you know nearly everything you need to know about Hanabi. But let's finish up with some miscellaneous other rules. First, when a 5 is played, the stack for that suit is completed, and as an extra bonus, the team is granted 1 extra clue token. For this reason, playing 5s is really good. Second, there's a limit to the amount of clue tokens that the team can build up, and that limit is 8. When the team has 8 clue tokens, the rules forbid you from discarding. The current player must either play a card or give a clue. In the rare case when a 5 is played with 8 clue tokens in the bank, then the extra clue token is not given. And that's it. So to recap, players rotate, taking turns one by one, giving clues, discarding cards, and playing cards. It's a race to play all the cards before the time runs out. And don't get 3 strikes, or else the game will end and everybody will lose. Good luck.